For centuries, the Nile has been a lifeline for civilizations downstream, yet its mighty source in the Ethiopian highlands remained untapped. Today, with the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, Ethiopia has turned the course of history, transforming ancient waters into modern power and igniting one of the most consequential debates over development and sovereignty in Africa. Ethiopia's reliance on the Nile River has been central to its history, economy, and aspirations for development. Despite being the source of the Blue Nile, which contributes around 85% of the Nile waters, Ethiopia historically benefited little from the river due to colonial-era water treaties that favored downstream countries, mainly Egypt and Sudan. Early concepts and plans 1950s-1960s. Initial surveys by the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation identified potential dam sites on the Blue Nile in Ethiopia, including the location near the Ethiopia-Sudan border where the GERD now stands. Political instability, limited financing, and Cold War dynamics prevented the realization of such projects at the time. Revival of the project 1990s-2000s. Ethiopia's government began actively exploring hydropower potential as part of its national development strategy. In 2010, Prime Minister Meles Zenawi formally announced the dam project, framing it as a national symbol of sovereignty and a vehicle for economic transformation. Launch of construction April 2011. Construction of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam officially began on the Blue Nile, about 30 kilometers from the Sudanese border. The project was largely self-financed by Ethiopians through bonds and contributions, since international financiers were hesitant due to regional tensions. Designed by Cellini Impregilo, now Webold, an Italian company, the dam's scale made it Africa's largest hydroelectric project. Technical details: dam type, gravity dam, height approximately 145 meters, length approximately 1,780 meters. Reservoir capacity approximately 74 billion cubic meters. Installed capacity over 6,000 megawatts, making it Africa's largest hydroelectric plant. Regional tensions: Egypt and Sudan expressed concerns over water security. Egypt, heavily reliant on the Nile for over 90% of its fresh water, considered the dam an existential threat. Ethiopia argued the GERD was essential for poverty reduction, industrialization, and electrification. Negotiations under the African Union and mediated by global powers, for example, the US and World Bank, have been ongoing but remain unresolved, focusing on dam filling schedules and drought management. Key milestones: 2013-2014, major construction works accelerate. Concrete poured for dam walls. 2015, Ethiopia, Egypt, and Sudan signed the Declaration of Principles, committing to cooperation. 2020, Ethiopia begins the first filling of the reservoir, despite Egyptian objections. 2021 to 2023, Ethiopia completes additional fillings and begins generating electricity. 2024, the dam enters advanced stages of operation, producing thousands of megawatts and supplying Ethiopia with domestic energy and export capacity. Historical significance: GERD is a landmark in Ethiopian history, symbolizing self-reliance, modernization, and national pride. It represents a geopolitical turning point in the Horn of Africa, reshaping power balances over the Nile Basin. The project embodies Ethiopia's vision of becoming an energy hub in East Africa, exporting power to neighboring countries like Sudan, Djibouti, Kenya, and potentially Egypt.